Dear Diary, I apologize for taking a bit longer than usual to get back to you. I was supposed to post this entry earlier, but then something unexpected happened. My dear dog got sick last week, and that changed everything. This entry was originally meant to be about another topic. I had something special in mind that I wanted to share with you, but that will have to wait for my next entry. Now, I want to tell you what happened to my dear dog. Dear Diary, I have told you before that I live with a sweet senior dog whom I love dearly. We spend every day together. Wherever I go, he comes along. We have shared our lives for so many years that I feel there's a very special bond between us. He is truly the light of my life. About a week ago, my dear dog woke up and was suddenly unable to stand normally. He couldn't walk straight. He kept leaning to the right and falling over. Dear Diary, you can imagine how devastated I felt, realizing that our time together might come to an end so suddenly and unexpectedly. As we rushed to the vet, I was painfully aware that this might be our last trip together. The vet explained that since my dog was alert and not in pain, we could observe him for a day or two. The issue might be with his vestibular system, which could resolve on its own within a few days. However, there was also the possibility that something more serious, like a brain tumor, was causing his symptoms. And if that were the case, his condition would likely worsen, leaving euthanasia as the only option. So, we went back home, and I cared for him the best I could. I stayed by his side every minute. It was too dangerous for him to sleep in his usual spot on the bed, because if he tried to get up, he could fall. So I made a bed for us on the floor. I knew that if he couldn't walk, even though he wasn't in pain, it wouldn't be a good life for him. My hope was that it was idiopathic vestibular syndrome rather than something more serious. If it were a brain tumor, we'd be faced with the difficult decision of euthanasia. But with vestibular syndrome, there was a chance he'd show signs of improvement within the first 24 to 72 hours. All I could do was wait and keep him as comfortable as possible. Some people believe it's impossible to love a dog as much as a human being. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, of course. But I love my dog as much as I love my family and other dear ones. When you are in a position where you might have to make such a heartbreaking decision for a creature you love deeply, it's a horrible place to be. Anyone who has ever been in this situation knows what I mean. Dear Diary, I cried so much during those days of waiting. It felt impossible to think about living life without my dear companion by my side. Without him, it seemed as though all the colors in the world would fade, leaving everything gray and empty. I felt desperate beyond words. But then, something extraordinary happened. As I sat next to my dog, crying quietly, I suddenly felt a strange warmth enter my mind. It was as if I was dreaming with my eyes open. In this dreamlike state, I imagined a small white dog standing beside me. I say imagined because that's the closest way I can describe the experience. It felt like the white dog was speaking to me in my mind, saying, "I am this little white dog, but I am also everything else. I am everywhere." It seemed as though the white dog wanted me to understand that we are all connected, that each biological form, whether human or animal, is like a bubble that comes into existence for a brief moment before dissolving back into the great sea from which it came. And just as the white dog is part of that sea, so am I. When my physical body disintegrates one day, I too will return to that vast eternal sea. Dear Diary, I can't explain in words how I felt, but after that experience, I felt so much better. Not completely good, of course, but my mood was significantly lighter. It comforted me to think that even if my dear dog was no longer with me in his physical form, he would still be with me, everywhere, all around me, forever. So, there is no need to despair when this part of our journey ends, because it only marks the beginning of a new kind of journey together. My dear dog will simply be in a different form, no longer a dog, but part of the infinite never-ending sea that we call the universe. The same sea I am part of. The same sea we are all part of. Dear Diary, thankfully, this story has a happy ending. For now. It seems my dear dog indeed had idiopathic vestibular syndrome. The cause of this syndrome is unknown, and though the symptoms can be dramatic, they often start to improve after a few days. Thankfully, this was the case with my dear dog. Right now, he is still experiencing some symptoms. He is not walking quite as steadily as before, but he's getting better every day. He's eating and drinking normally, and he's happy to go outside and smell the world. It seems like he is enjoying life just as much as he always did. Dear Diary, this experience has had a profound effect on me. The memory of the small white dog telling me that he is everywhere has stayed with me. Even now, I can vividly recall that feeling. I hope I can hold on to that memory for the rest of my life. I know my dear dog is already quite old, and we've been given precious extra time together. I don't know how much longer we have, but I am grateful for every second. He brings happiness and motivation into my otherwise quiet and isolated life. After this experience, I know I'll still feel his presence even when he is no longer here in his physical form. And that thought is very comforting. Dear Diary, as I mentioned at the beginning of this entry, I was originally planning to talk about something entirely different. I will share that with you next time. This time, I just wanted to share what has been happening in my life. I am so grateful to have you, my dear diary, as a connection to my dear soul friend. I will talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for listening.